evening and welcome to ELOSOFUMARTAKES. This is our 207th take, live from the Alec Bradley Lone Star studio of Azle, Texas. I'm your host, Barry Duplessis, as always, and I'm so proud, so pleased, and so privileged to be with you all tonight. This is going to be a fantastic show. It took long enough for us to get up and running. It's going to be well worth the wait. I promise you. I am so excited about my two guests tonight. This has been a show I've been waiting to do for a really long time, and this is going to be a fantastic show. You don't want to miss it, and I'm so glad that you all are here to enjoy it. But before we get to the guests of honor, we do have to thank the people that make this show possible, and that, of course, is our sponsors. And tonight's show is sponsored by Drew Estate. During its May 12th Freestyle Live Special Edition broadcast, Drew Estate will be introducing its newest premium cigar. And the company is giving consumers a chance to preview the brand before its global unveiling with the release of the all-new Freestyle Live event pack. Packs will be available at participating retailers from now until they're sold out. And the unveiling happens on May 12th on the Freestyle Live Special Edition broadcast on Drew Estate's Facebook page. You thought they were going nuts when they were giving away Bitcoins. Well, count it, guys. They are giving away much more prizes, including, yes, a 2022 Jeep Wrangler Sport valued at $33,000. I don't know how much a Bitcoin is, but I know what $33,000 is. And a Jeep Wrangler would certainly look good in my driveway, and I know it would look good in yours. So check out details on Drew Estate's Facebook page. Find out how you can win. But it's going to be a fantastic Freestyle Live, always is. So definitely check it out and get your participation packs for $39.99 at participating Drew Diplomat retailers nationwide if they haven't already sold out. So check it out. So, and welcome everyone. This is our 207th take. I'm so excited to welcome tonight's guests, sponsored by United Cigars. Smoke one today and start living united. Miss Karen Berger and Mr. Brian Diggins of Don Kiki Cigars. Lady, gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, good night. Thank you for having us. For us, you tonight. Everybody who is connected, the Facebook, the Zoom meeting, thank you so much for enjoying with us.
Well, I'm so excited to have you on, Karen, and you too, Brian. It's been something I've wanted to have. I've been wanting to have you as a guest on the show for quite some time, and it's such a thrill to have you. You've accomplished so much in this business, Karen. And you've done so much for not only for the cigar industry in the world of manufacturing cigars, but in the world of retail and also in the world of growing tobacco as well. You've done so much for this industry, and it's so great to have you on and everything. No, I know I know you got your start in Nicaragua. Were you born in Nicaragua as well, or were you born somewhere else and moved there as a young lady?
No, I born and raised in Esteli, Nicaragua. So in Esteli, Nicaragua, we had all the operation. We had running the operation since '90 with the cigar factory over there. Then we had the farm. So everything is a vertical process from the sea to your hands.
That's right. We're going to get into a lot of that later on. I'm really excited to talk about that. Brian, where are you from exactly? Are you from all over or?
No, man. I'm actually from a small town just outside of Houston. It's closer to Bryan College Station. It's called Navasota. No one's ever heard of it, but
I'm from Texas, so I've heard of Navasota. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Most of my audience hasn't heard of Navasota though, but I know where it is.
Most people haven't. Yeah, but yeah, I currently live in Bryan College Station. This is my home area, home base.
Sounds good. So Texas is home for you. Texas is home for me. So Karen, where do you reside these days? I know you're all over the place. I know you travel quite a bit. So, but what do you call home?
Nicaragua, for sure is Nicaragua. Even that I don't have the opportunity since COVID situation, it's really hard right now to travel. It's only one airline traveling to Nicaragua, Avianca. So it's really hard. But my home, I call my home, is being in Esteli, Nicaragua. But as well, I live in Florida in Daytona Beach, where we had our cigar superstore, 1,000 square feet, and from here we make all the distribution of all our cigars.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to talk to you about all your different parts of operation and everything. But before we get into it, I know we're all smoking cigars tonight. I'm the only one that hasn't lit up yet. So, Karen, what are you smoking so far?
I am smoking the K by Karen Berger Lancero Habano. That side we introduced last year, the PCA regular or portfolio. We carry Karen Berger and Maduro, Connecticut, Habano wrapper, 3 different size, Robusto, Toro, and Salomon. But last year we introduced Lancero size in these 3 particular brands, Connecticut, Habano, and Maduro. And I love this cigar. I fell in love with this cigar.
That's awesome. The Lancero craze is kind of taken off in a lot of different ways and everything, but a lot of people are waiting to do it. I know your brands are pretty well established and everything. Have you always liked the Lancero, or when you were working with the blend and figuring out a different Vitola, did you just did this just end up happening, or was it something you always wanted to do?
We had some customers that they were asking about the Lancero size, so that's why we introduced that size last year. But I know I never were like a fan lover of Lanceros, but since we have it, I fell in love with in particular with this Lancero Habano.
Well, that's wonderful, wonderful. Well, Brian, what are you smoking this evening?
Yeah, I'm smoking another one of our trade show releases. It's the K by Karen Cameroon, just rated at a 91 in Cigar Journal magazine. So back on that Lancero that Karen's smoking, again with Kiki having the factory for so long, like they mastered the Lancero long ago. So it's just that particular Habano Lancero. It's a wonderful cigar. I'm not a Lancero guy, but I'll go to that one most times.
Awesome. Well,
yeah, again, I'm on the Cameroon.
Well, I've got 2 cigars in front of me, Karen. I've got the K by Karen Berger Connecticut Robusto and the K by Karen Berger Cameroon Robusto. We just talked about that's what Brian's smoking and everything. But it would really honor me if Karen, if you would pick my cigar tonight. Which cigar of yours would you like me to smoke first?
You had the Cameroon and the Connecticut, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Just the Cameroon. So it's a truly African Cameroon. It's the binder of that particular cigar is Sumatra, the binder, and all the filler is from our farm, Nicaragua. As Brian say, 91 rating, Cigar Journal magazine. Is a medium body, very flavorful, creamy, smooth.
It's absolutely gorgeous looking. I love that you guys put this press on it.
Well, that's what I was about to say, man. Cameroon is a tough enough wrapper to work with, and then you put a box press on it. I mean, that's a tough cigar to process.
No kidding. I was, you took the words right out of my mouth, Brian. I think that's really impressive. But I mean, what's really great about it, as soon as I took it out of the cellophane, I mean, you can smell that rich Cameroon wrapper, the wonderful tobacco in the foot. I mean, this, I can already tell before I even light this up, this is going to be a really rich cigar. Is this the first time that you've ever personally worked with Cameroon, Karen, or have you worked with it before? And this was the first one that you really liked, the first blend you really liked to produce it?
Every year we try to bring something new to the market. So I can say our portfolio carry the particular blends that everybody can enjoy. We have different strain in all the blends, but every year we try to bring something new to the market. I fell in love with the Cameroon wrapper. We usually work with the Sumatra wrapper, one or cigar in the original blend of Don Kiki Red Label. We use the Sumatra wrapper. We use as a wrapper the Sumatra, But in this particular cigar, we use the Sumatra wrapper as a binder. And I fell in love. The wrapper Cameroon is not the prettiest wrappers in the world. Has a lot of spot, but the flavor is unique. That kept my to create something new last year. And at the beginning, we worked with the Cameroon as a limited edition. We made certainly amount of boxes last year. But as we saw everything, people fell in love with that cigar, we decided to bring and add to a regular portfolio, the Cameroon.
It's absolutely, like, from the first puff here, it's already grabbing my attention with flavor. Like you said, it's not the world's prettiest wrapper, or it depends on your opinion, right? Just because it does have a lot of the spots like you were talking about. But what I think is really gorgeous about Cameroon is just the aroma that comes off of it. And but I mean, you guys got some incredibly good looking leaves, because this is a gorgeous looking cigar, and I'm just a couple puffs into it. I'm really excited about smoking this tonight with you all. So what, Brian mentioned the box pressing. Was that something you wanted to do because that it's consistent with all the other lines, Karen, or did you want the challenge of trying to do something with Cameroon that a lot of other people haven't done, just because it's such a challenging leaf?
Yeah, in all our regular lines, we use box press, and we carry two different blends, Don Kiki and the original blend, which is a round. As well, Don Kiki, we had the platinum, which is also box press, the grande and the grand toro too. But I fell in love with that shape. It's as Brian say, it's not easy. When you have that cigar and mold, usually a wrapper can be damaged. It's really difficult to produce that kind of box press cigars. But I fell in love with that size, and one of my favorite cigars is coming in that size, so I like too much.
Fantastic. Well, I'm like I said, I'm really excited to smoke this with y'all, and thank you so much again for joining me tonight. And that'll
thanks for having us, man. Sorry about the technical difficulties. You can blame that on me, man. My microphone was messing up.
Well, like you said, I don't think we can blame it on anyone. It's more like blaming it on the technical gods or whatever that just decide to just creep up and mess with things every once in a while.
There's a bad tech fusion.
There's a story about a Greek ghost, not a Greek god. You've heard of Greek mythology, but there's a story about a Greek ghost called Thespis, who was actually the first. He was the first person to ever walk onto a stage, and basically he was the first actor in human history. And he was Greek, ancient Greece. And there's a story that he likes to play havoc on broadcasts or performances of any kind on occasion. So if something ever goes wrong, you can just blame it on Thespis. So
it was Thespis' fault.
Yes, so fun story. But that's that is
hey, let me interrupt you. Hey, Karen, can you, on your audio, on your phone, can you turn that on its side?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. So that'll take us into tonight's major point, which is always brought to you by the people. Power of the P. Tonight's major point is brought to you by the people. Cigar people, the people who know everything about a lifetime of service. Protocol Cigars is more than just pool parties and good times. Well, maybe it is. But behind the fun is a motivation for service, a motivation for giving back. From the original Protocol Blue to the latest release in the Lawman series, Bass Reeves, Protocol has always been about honor, passion, and yes, the people. It's what their life's work has been and always will be about. Power of the P, Protocol Cigars. Now, Karen, one of the big reasons that I wanted to get you on the show this year was to talk about an accolade that you received last year, in particular, while long overdue, but certainly worthwhile, of course, to be recognized as a business person in this industry. Now it came with the title of Businesswoman of the Year from Tobacco Business, but there were some incredible nominees that you were, I guess, competing against, for lack of a better term. Your fellow nominees were also have done incredible things in this industry, and to receive this award, I'm sure, had to be an incredible honor, not just because of the other women that were in the running for it, but what it represented for what you paint as a legacy for your late husband, Kiki. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about when you first heard that you were awarded the Tobacco Businesswoman of the Year from Businesswoman of the Year? What did that mean to you?
Was my second nomination. So in 20, I was nominated. I think that was Janine Perdomo, who won Tobacco Businesswoman of the Year last year. We won, and I feel really proud of that. That award me represent not by myself, not Karen Berger as a brand. For me, represent my roots, the originals, the cigar industry in total. 70% or 75% or 80% of the people who work in a factory, even in the farm, are women's. Mm-hmm. So for me, one Tobacco Business magazine represent all the women that are in the industry, that work in the industry and doesn't have voice. As my beginning was to start working in a cigar factory, in a production area, rolling cigar. So be in a magazine is no, I don't see my face. I don't see too many faces, too many women, too many manufacturers, too many cigar smokers, too many people who work in the factory. So make me feel really proud. So we see the increase in this last year. We have, there are more women with more presence in the social media. And for me, it is amazing, to see that. And of course, when I won this award, I feel like somebody in the sky was making a party, because they know that we are doing a really good job. So.
Absolutely.
That's actually something you took the words out of my mouth, Karen, because that's something that I've talked about a couple of times on the show. I've had the good fortune to have some incredible women, including now yourself, as guests on this show. And something that we've talked about on occasion, and you brought up the point again, was that women make up a majority of the cigar industry, but yet a lot of people don't even know it, because when people think about cigars, they think about cigar smoking, and that has been typically and historically men, but it's women that make these.
Right.
And
yes.
So, like you said, that had to be really incredible to represent all the women that have put in years and decades into making cigars, and to be recognized as to be recognized in that fashion. It was, had to be pretty remarkable. But there was another question that I wanted to ask you along with this. Do you think that now is the time that women are going to start to be receiving more recognition, that women are going to start to be being seen in that more visual role like you are? Like everyone now, a lot of people know who you are, but do you think women as a whole and as a group in the industry will now be more visible because of accolades like this that you've won?
I think that in the future would be more easy things for women, I think that will be more easy, of course. So we are opening a path for all these amazing ladies who are part right now of the industry, that who want to come to the market and create his own blends. So I think that will be more easy. Even right now, still we are breaking with some kind of stereotypes. So this is a male industry, as you say before. I take a really nice example of the big men in the industry, Mr. Orlando Padron, my husband, Kiki Berger. So I follow a lot of examples, mm-hmm. But as well, we have a lot of women's manufacturers that are doing amazing job, Miss Maya Saba from Honduras. We had Jadi Gonzalez from Frode Gonzalez. Ania with Don Fausto Cigar. There are a couple more. Niurka Reyes from the Saga. So there are more. So I feel like we have like a more present. I feel like we are like a more united. So I belong to a lot of group of women. So we are doing a lot of Zoom meetings. So I saw more and more women, so made me feel really, really happy about that. And for sure, in the future, I think that will be more present in the market. I think that we need to change a lot of things. First is that to show the cigar industry that is not only it's an industry that doesn't have any gender. So it's not a passion that can be enjoyed for men, for women as well. We need to change also the mind that women has a lot of knowledge about cigars too.
You took my next question away from me again, Karen. No, that's exactly what I was going to say was, do you think there'll ever be a time where there is no gender in this industry? We're just all cigar smokers. We're all cigar manufacturers. We're all cigar media. We're all cigar representatives, and it will be a genderless, to use a word, industry. Do you think that time will come soon?
It's really hard because the problem is not only in the cigar industry. The problem has been for all time in every different industries or whatever. It will take some time. The thing is that we can change the mentality, showing the people that we have the knowledge and we are open to learn every day. So I say one of my recommendations to everybody that some lady that approached me, Karen, what can I do? I like to have my own brand, whatever. I support them because, everything starts with a dream, but to get the success in life, for me, you need to keep hard, it's a lot of sacrifice. And until today, I am working really hard because as a boutique cigar, so not many people know the name of Don Kiki Cigar or as well the cake by Karen Berger. There are a lot of doors that will need to knock. And sometimes some doors that are closed for us, they say no. And sometimes there are open doors that doesn't feel really bad, but because I say that I am really blessed because I am part of the cigar industry and I work as in the part, the retail, as a wholesale part. So I understand the mentality of many owners of the cigar lounges, Mm-hmm. But I say, keep doing, working hard. Is not that believe that I had everything in that moment. For us, is working really hard to maintain the quality, the consistency, and our cigar. That's our main focus, Absolutely. Means that the same cigar that you are smoking today would be the same cigar you are smoking in 3 years. We're focused on quality control in our production as a boutique cigar. My factory is in a small factory, but we are focused and to bring to our market really good products.
Back to the women in the industry, and back to the factory. We've got Doña Carmen down there in the factory that's been there since the very beginning, and she runs the factory. So that's just another example of women in the industry that are doing the things that we're all as men enjoying, but don't get the recognition or that no one knows about. But Carmen, I mistakenly said Lydia a second ago. Doña Carmen in Esteli, she's doing everything down there. So.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think caught as we were talking about this more and more in the, and it's becoming more and more prevalent, and people like Karen are being recognized for their achievements. It's becoming more of a known quantity, which is really good. Like Karen said, there's a long way to go because it's not just the cigar industry, it's everything outside of it too. Now, Brian, I know you're biased a little bit. But Karen, I wanted to mention something to you, but I know Brian can back me up on this. The respect that you have in the industry is pretty renowned. When I remember your name coming up quite a bit, the last couple of trade shows. I know we missed one because of COVID, but anytime that your name was mentioned, okay, not the Berger name, which certainly has a great historical legacy, and we'll get to your, the incredible work that your late husband did in a little bit. But specifically you, and there was it's almost like your name was mentioned with a little bit of reverence to it, which is, I think, well deserved because of what you've accomplished with wearing so many hats. When you hear about the respect that you've also gotten from your fellow manufacturers and people in the industry, does that mean a lot to you as well?
It means a lot to me because was really hard at the beginning to take the decision if I continue with my husband's business, being that there are not too many women in the industry and take the help of the company was really hard. But at the same time, I had the support to many friends in the industry that they say, Karen, you can do it. So they give me a lot of strength, you know, and I am very thankful because, as you say, the respect that I have in the industry, as many people know, is a respect that that I deserve, you know, because hasn't been easy for me. It took a lot of years to get a name in the market. So at the end of the day, I want to people recognize the name of Karen Berger as the person who is the head of the company, the owner of the brand, carrying two different brands as Don Kiki and K by Karen Berger. And as I said before, I am very blessed having all this friendship in the cigar industry that day by day they support me, give me advice, and I feel that there are some angels here right now that Kiki sent to me to help me. So I am feeling really blessed.
So speaking of your late husband, let's go back to the beginning of it a bit. You mentioned at the top of the show about how you got started in Nicaragua, but it's to my understanding you actually started working in the cigar factory. You had no interest at first in cigars. You were using the cigar industry to pay for school. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. I studied my career in business administration. So I was working in the farm for a long time. So I met Don Kiki over there. So we married, we had kids. As I was working in the factory, I learned the different process, the different operation. I was as well working in the production, packing, despalillo. So only the thing that was a new experience for me when he passed is a crown, make my own crown. Craft. No.
Growing your own tobacco?
Yes, yes, yes. This is a new experience that was huge, was a lot of responsibilities with no any help with any bank, working with my fingers, literally. But you know, that gave me a lot of strength, you know, if I can do it, I keep on doing, you know. Everything that you want, if you work hard, you can do it. So,
absolutely.
And we married. So I was married for 17 years with that guy. That for me was my mentor, was my big example to follow. And today, the love that he has for the industry, this is a love that he taught me, and I am preaching and preaching every day. Let the people know that Karen Berger is here today because Kiki Berger. So if you see the cigar that you're smoking right now, the label say K by Karen Berger. The K is staying not because my name, the K is staying because Kiki, and in the top is a crown. So it's not because I am the queen. There are many women, all the women are queen. So the crown in that band we take from the original label of Don Kiki. So everything is to continue, you know, with the brand and with another presentation.
Yeah, Brian and I were talking about this earlier this week as we were getting the details set up for the show about how the brand K by Karen Berger it pays homage, like you said, it pays respect to everything, the legacy of your late husband. You know, to talk about, you know, talking about getting started with him, and you mentioned it just a second ago, how he was more than obviously the love of your life and your husband and everything. He was a mentor. He was a teacher that taught you so much. You obviously had a mind for business early on. That's why you ended up in a cigar factory in the first place, was study business administration. But this was a whole new world to you. What do you think was, I know this might be the toughest question I ask you tonight, but what do you think was the number one lesson, if he could tell you, this is the number one thing I'll ever teach you, Karen, what was it?
It's a really hard question, but you know, he was a really good professor, really good mentor. So he he give me the key. He showed me the important thing that I can work, and so this is for me was my things, you know. He give me all the knowledge that I need for being alone, working alone by myself, with the factory, with the farm, with everything, with the retail store as well. But as I said before, and I keep saying and saying, so and he never think in a small thing. His dream always was bigger. So I say that big dream, and everything that if you work hard, you can do it. I think that he told me that I need to believe in myself. So first things that we had in the company, I always say, I believe in Brian, I believe in Bruce Bush, I believe in every part of the team. But first of all, I believe in me, and I need to show my people that are part of my family, that are part of my team, that as my strength that I have, the dream that I have is possible. You know, as a small company, my dream is not as a small company. My dream is in big, you know. And I think that we have right now we have the perfect thing to growing our business, to growing our dream, and you know, as I am growing, every part of my team, every part of the people who work for me, will be growing too.
Yeah. So this is just the beginning of Karen Berger and the awesome team. That's what we're hearing, right?
Dude, that question you asked her though it's a very interesting question, because when you spend time with Karen and you work with Karen and you hang out with Karen, there are so many things that she just random knowledge bombs that she'll drop, but it's always, well, Kiki says, or Kiki told me. You know, dude, she's got so much information from Kiki. I would imagine it's very difficult to just pick out one most important lesson, because you know, like it could be hours and hours of her saying, well, Kiki said this, Kiki said that, Kiki said this. You know, the dude, like she said, was a great teacher.
That's wonderful. So I was checking out, Karen, I was checking out a video of someone who did a tour of the Don Kiki Superstore, the retail location that you manage, of course, and run. And I saw at the end of the video, you were actually rolling cigars, and I know that's how you got started in the factory. That's what you were doing when you got started and everything. Do you still roll cigars? I mean, obviously, probably not as much. You got your hands pretty full these days, but do you still, you know, roll cigars for fun, or do you not have the time?
I wish to have more time to continue doing, but I don't have enough time. But here in the cigar store, I have my own space, my table, and all my tools that I need to roll a cigar. I have the raw material over here. So, but sometimes, like last year's, we had an event that they require me. They asked me if I can roll a cigar, and for me, it's a pleasure. You know, it's remind my beginning, my root. And I am really proud of that, where I'm coming from, you know?
I just remember watching this video of you rolling a cigar, and and I've seen several videos, and I've read different interviews from you, and every time I hear or see you, there's this, it's almost like this different type of joy that comes out. And there was this different type of joy, this different type of happiness that I saw in you as you were rolling a cigar. And I think it's kind of what you were just saying. It kind of takes you back to the beginning and everything. You know, is again, speaking back to the beginning of everything, and when you had to take over the company after your husband had passed away, and you started to get into farming, like you said, this was something that was really new for you. What was it about the farming aspect that you wanted to do? Why did you want to do that? Was that again to honor Kiki and everything that he taught you, or was that just another way to expand the business, or was it kind of a combination of the two things?
I think it's most of all is to keep with his work. You know, he was a person who was in charge of the chain of the store, In Miami, we had with another partner, a lot of Cuban crafted stores. So he was the person that could handle with many situations at the same time, traveling, promoting the brand, taking care of the factory, taking care of the farm. As I said before, I didn't have too much knowledge about the growing tobacco. So when he passed in September and October, I was doing my first crop alone with any knowledge. Of course, I make a lot of mistakes at that time, but running the business for us as a boutique cigar made me feel really proud. As a boutique cigar, we had the entire operation. So means the quality in our cigar, we don't not depend the other people. We buy the wrapper. We had a lot of supplies. They sell us the wrapper, but as well to have the tobacco, all the filler what we use in our tobacco. Give me like say a little piece, that know that the control or our production has a lot of quality, consistency for me is very important. So I want to keep
control
the same things,
monitor control.
Everything, running everything as always he did.
And the farm is in Esteli, correct? Where you grow the tobacco?
Yes, we are like 10 minutes from the town, from Esteli. Okay. So in the same location that we have the farm, and both sides of the highway is around 36 acres that we have. In the same farm, we had we run all the operation. We had the factory, we had the pre-industria, we had la casa de curado, we had everything in the same place.
So at the time of the first crop, another lesson that you learned, I heard that you actually didn't use that first crop for Don Kiki Cigars or K by Karen Berger. You actually sold that first crop. Is that true?
At the beginning, yes. So I didn't know about our knowledge about the first crop. So the first things that I have in my mind, so I can use that crop to have my own raw material as well. I can sell it. But at that time, we use a lot of ligero viso seco from the farm. But we grown the corojo C. And at that time, many companies, and also I didn't have any cigar with that corojo, that we make with the corojo seed. So because what I doing, because I hear some opinion that, oh my God, that give a lot of amount of tobacco leaf. So we had a lot of production. So we had amazing crop. But then I had amazing ton of tobacco, and I don't know what to do with that amount of tobacco. And now we say, oh my God, we had amazing crop. Now, what is the next step? So, I did it first that I need to create my own cigar using all the tobacco that we grow at that time. But yes, we sold at that time. I met Mr. Abe Flores from PDR. So he was using a lot of corojo in his cigar, and he buy a lot of our production.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. So the tobacco you grow now, there's no wrapper, right? It's just binder and filler that you use it for?
Yes.
Okay. But now you are using some of it for your product as well, correct?
Right.
Yeah, all of our cigars, the binder and filler, with the exception of the Cameroon, of course, but the binder and filler are coming off of our farms.
Terrific. So as soon as I wrap up this Cameroon and light up this Connecticut, I'll be able to taste some of that. So that'll be that's fantastic.
And that's the Ecuadorian Connecticut.
Right. So Ecuadorian Connecticut, and that obviously, and then the Habano and the Maduro wrapper are also sourced elsewhere too, but the binder and the filler are all of your tobacco, right, Karen?
Right. That's right.
So when you were first kind of, again, when going back to growing these first crops and everything, was there someone running the farm, or did you have to learn everything by yourself as you were trying it out? Because like you said, this was right after Kiki died, and you took on the project by yourself. Was there anyone at the farm that was kind of giving you guidance, or did you kind of take this project on all by yourself?
We have Don Santos. He was in charge all the time about our crops. But when the Kiki passed, everybody was lost. You know, we all had to do how to run the business as he usually do. It was an experience for everybody, you know, because as well they didn't know if I had the capacity to run the business. But they were with me, and also, as I said before, as I received a lot of advices. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Again, to go back to Kiki, 1 second. You said in the interview once that he wanted to support everybody and he wanted to help everybody. He was a big guy with a big heart. He was my professor and he taught me everything. The supporting of everybody, I feel like is something that you've also carried on too, because like I said before, there's a lot of people, even outside your own company, that when the name Karen Berger or Kiki Berger is mentioned, there's always a story. I feel like there's always a story that goes along with it. Like, oh, I remember when Karen helped me do this, or when Kiki and Karen helped me do this. And so I feel like you're continuing that legacy as well. Why is, when you first met him, why was helping other people so important to him? And why is it so important for you to continue that part as well?
I think that he loved the cigar industry, but the thing that he loved more is the atmosphere or everything that include create a relationship with everybody and the possibility to help to everybody in the industry. As I think that he do more for others, that the thing that he can do for him as a growing his own business, has more name in the cigar industry. So his main focus always wasn't based in him, was based in to try to help to everybody, you know. So that for me, I think that cigar industry is a family. I don't feel that I don't have any competition with anybody. So I always say that there are cigars for every palate, you know. Sometimes the opportunity that we have as boutique cigar is not the same opportunity that premium cigar has. Is a lot of advertising. There are big companies, they spend a lot of money and they have really good products. But as well as a boutique cigar, that we are, we wanna show that we have all as well the same quality in our cigars. So Kiki wasn't not focused so much on about that. He was focused to create a lot of things at the same time, cigar store, helping people and all this stuff. And as I said before, it's not competition. And I feel if I had the opportunity to help to everybody to grow in his own business, to has his own cigar store, or if I had the opportunity to somebody who want me to make his cigar, his private label, I am open to do it, you know, because I wish that the opportunity that I have, everybody had it, you know.
So I know, Brian, I know you can talk a little bit about this too, because you spend a lot of time on the road, obviously. And so you see a lot of this in shops. You see a lot of people helping each other out. You see a lot about how like this industry is really, in a lot of ways, is a really big family in a lot of cases. So the things that I've mentioned a couple of times tonight about the when you walk around with the company that you represent, the name that you represent, and you represent Karen, and you represent the legacy of Kiki and everything. Talk about the experiences that you've had with retailers as they tell you stories about the two of them.
Oh, you know, it's everyone's got it, like you said, everyone, if they're a veteran cigar smoker, you know, they've got a good story about Kiki. We went to an event in Addison a couple days ago, and a guy called one of his friends and was like, "Oh my goodness, like this guy needs to talk to you, Karen, because Kiki was his hero," right? You know, these are the things that we run into everywhere we go, you know. And then even for the new cigar smoker, right? The guy that's just now getting into it, that doesn't know Alec Bradley from Drew Estate, right? when you start explaining the story to them, well, then they immediately fall in love with the brand too. So, you know, we've got the old school smokers that have great stories about Don Kiki and Karen Berger. We've got the people that know the stories about Drew Estate and Jonathan Drew with Kiki, and you know, Skip Martin has done his interviews where he's like, hey, Kiki was a great guy. Kiki gave me a great start. And these interviews get out, they get to the people. So everywhere you go, man, you know, it's a great brand for me to represent. Karen makes it easy. And Kiki made it a lot easier for us by paving the way, because like you said, you know, we can walk in most places and they're going to know the name Don Kiki or K by Karen Berger.
Absolutely. I remember the first time that that I first heard the name Berger, and it was when I smoked a Berger Argenti cigar, you know, with the protruding filler leaf that
with
stuck
the warning
out.
label, with the warning label
with
on
the warning
it,
label on it. And I have to, here's my story about that cigar. The first time I didn't pay attention to the warning label. So obviously it didn't work out very well because I didn't read it. And it took me, and I was determined because the cigar tasted so good and I could smell the tobacco, and the tobacco just tasted really good. And I was like, I got to get this to work. And so the next few times I spent, when I had very little money, I spent a lot of money on these cigars because I really liked them and I wanted to make it work. And I was like, I know that I'm doing something wrong here. So like the term user error really took effect, because I knew I wasn't doing it properly, and it took me a couple times to get right.
And Kiki told you, you know, he put a warning label on it. He was like,
exactly,
this cigar is going to kick your ass, man. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that cigar. I really enjoyed the experience, and it's one of those stories that kind of lives with me, and I'll always remember it. I'll always remember it because of it was something new, it was something different, and he was really trying to bring something special to cigar smokers, and he did that, you know, all the time. And now Karen, you're doing it as well with these cigars. I'm thoroughly enjoying this, Cameron. This is fantastic. This is smoking beautiful. The flavor is incredible.
And you know, something else about, you know, Kiki bringing enjoyment to the cigar smokers is Kiki was focused on production and cigars, not bands and boxes, you know. So a lot of his value cigars are overlooked because they're not in a fancy box or whatnot. And that's because that's what Kiki wanted. Kiki was making cigars for cigar smokers, not box buyers, you know. So it kind of goes with what you were saying. There's Kiki's making a cigar for the people.
Now, Karen, so as you started to really push the brand over the last few years, since his passing and everything, you've expanded this team, including the hiring of Brian, and bringing in Bruce and all these other great folks that work with you, alongside with you and for you and everything. Talk about the expansion of the team. And I've heard you mention this several times, and you've even said it a couple times tonight already. This is your family. And so you don't think of it as a company. Do you think of it as an extended family? I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm asking.
I think it's my family, you know. As I said before, so we have running all the people who is running my factory right now is the same people who were working with Kiki for more than 20 years, you know. That show you that we are really that our priority is taking care of the person who are part of the team, who are part of the family, you know. So I am really excited right now. The company has grown a lot since 2 years ago, that when Bruce come into the company as well. Brian is doing an amazing job. We have a lot of people, Marshall, Tammy, Jeff. The thing is really big, you know, and the most important thing for me about our family, about my team, is that the people believe in our products, you know. They feel really proud. They feel really in love to representing Karen Berger and Don Kiki Cigar. So for me, means a lot to me, you know. And my responsibility is give them a good material to work and then his responsibility is sales and promoting and talk about the brand, you know, growing the business. I think that everybody part in the team has his own responsibilities. As I said before, I enjoy to visit many cigar lounge, to have an events, to meet new people, to talk about our cigar, to talk about our background and everything. I enjoy a lot. But the most part that I enjoy a lot is being in the factory, taking care of our production, having the possibility, because right now, as I said before, we had an amazing portfolio right now that carry different blends for different palettes, you know. But as well, that doesn't mean that I know working, that I know processing, that I know getting more information, that I, in my mind, is not being working and creating something new, you know. So my part, the thing that I enjoy is have the possibility to produce, to create some blend, to bring with something new, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a full production, as well could be a limited edition.
You mentioned the word, you say the word responsibility, and I've heard that echoed quite a bit among all these conversations that I've had. Something else that really happens, you know, that I've had the really good fortune to, I've had the opportunity to interview a lot of fantastic people and a lot of fantastic families. But it's really unique because tonight what we're talking about is much different. The family legacy that I'm used to having a conversation about is daughters and fathers, or fathers and sons. Tonight we're talking about a love story, a husband and a wife, and the carrying on of the torch that you have. And again, Brian talked about it a little bit earlier when he was talking about here we are, you know, 5-6 years later, and everything that you do still echoes what Kiki taught you. And I think that's really incredible for a number of reasons, just because it is very, very unique. That there are so many things that you could have done, right? There are so many things that you could have done, but you continued his legacy as if you know, as if he was still there, as you know, as best as you could. And it's become something that I think that he would even view as more beautiful. Dr. Gabby Caffey was in the chat earlier saying how he's looking down on you. He's so proud, and how Kiki did so much for small companies like his, getting them into cigar stores in the Florida market, and all, as well as all over. It's hearing remarks like that, I think that you have to recognize how special what you're doing is.
Thank you.
So one of the other things I wanted to ask about before, a couple other things I wanted to talk about tonight was the kind of the wearing of all the hats. So again, you have the retail location, you're manufacturing cigars, you're growing tobacco, and you have this incredible team around you, as we just talked about. And it's because you want everything from seed to store. Why is that so important? I know it's something that a lot of people want to do, but why was it so important for you to do it, and why is it so important for you to keep doing it?
You know, this is the business that one of my 4 jobs when I started in the factory working. Then I fell in love with a guy that, I said before, the love that he has for the industry, he transmits me that same love for the industry. So I feel really blessed again, because it's not only about myself, you know, this business, which is amazing for me, as business that for a long time feed not only my family, feed all the people that work for me. And I feel like I have the responsibility to keep doing what I am doing. But as well, I am in love with the industry. If something happened, I think that there are no other choice that I have to choose is being here, you know, in front of the camera, in front of the brand, here in my office, or working in the cigar factory, or wherever, in whatever part that I work, I feel like this is my place. You know, this is the place that I love to be. You know, this is the industry. This is the this is my work. This is my passion. That's my love. So I'll be working and working, even that you know, in my dream, that no, in my mind, there are no idea never that one day leave the cigar industry. My idea is to keep doing that I am doing to my family. They are doing the same the thing that I do in my daughter Genesis. He will be in the college this in this year.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but her dream is, mommy, my English is perfect, and I can help you a lot. So when we are on vacations, she is the lady that enjoy the vacation, stay in the factory, working in the packing area. She is the lady when she has Saturday and Sunday. She comes to the store. She know every brand. She know every size. Genesis, where is coming the Macanudo cigar? Mommy from Dominican Republic. She know everything. She know how to use my POS, you know, to run how QuickBooks, you know, it's something that I think that I doing very well, because I show her that we are working, but at the same time, we are not working because only sustain the family. We are working to sustain another people. And I think that the love that I teaching her to keep his father name and everything, she understand very well the situation, you know. So in my dream, my dream is that the company, if something happened to me, the company not die here. I think that I had amazing people with me that can run and following the name, the legacy of the company alive.
Sounds like the Berger name is safe for generations to come so far. So that's good. That's good to hear. That was going to be one of my questions. Karen,
Yeah,
one of the,
Genesis is an amazing young lady.
that's fantastic. I love that's one of the things that I love about the stories in this industry is this is a very family oriented business. Even though tonight's story is a little bit different, as I said earlier, it's still a family business, and that's what I really like about this industry is that, you know, it's the family that we have, and then it's family like Bruce and like Brian, who we welcome in to our family, and they become members of our family, and they things like that. It's one of the things I truly love about it. Karen, one of the other things that I noticed that's very different about you, and it was something that I just kind of picked up on as I've listened to several of your interviews, as I've mentioned, and I've read some of your interviews too. And this isn't anything bad about the way other people are, but when I hear other people talk about their cigars, they talk about how great they are or how good they are, or they talk about tasting notes, or they talk about the process in which they're made. Again, there's nothing wrong with any of that. But you say something a little bit different. You say you should try this cigar. And I wanted to ask you, is that something that is a Karen original, or is that something that Kiki used to say and that you've picked up on? Or do you even notice that you say it? That could be it too.
You know, but as I say before, so our portfolio is amazing. I believe in every product that the K by Karen Berger and Don Kiki has right now in the market is amazing cigar. So I love the people who are not married with a particular brand. You know, more cigar your smoke, more your palate, more your knowledge are expanded. You know, as I say, try my cigar. If you give me the opportunity to try my cigar, you want to fall in love. You want to fall in love with that cigar, because I totally believe that the cigar that we produce, the cigar that we make, are amazing cigars. So, you know what, we have are receiving many different review in different magazine. All the review or the ratings are really good. But I say that at the end of the day, don't matter how much I try to explain to the people that we produce, we make a really good cigar, we are focused on quality, whatever. At the end of the day, this is speak by itself, you know? So.
Absolutely. It was something that I just picked up on, and all your interviews and everything, and I really liked it. It was something that I hadn't really heard from anybody else, and it's not that anyone does it wrong or anything, but I thought that was really unique. You're like, you need to try this, and I thought it was a really
that's how
interesting
we feel.
approach.
Like, yeah, I mean, honestly, as a business, that's how we feel. You know, we're not trying to convince you to buy our cigar. We just ask you to try it, and the cigar will speak for itself. You know, so
Absolutely.
Try our cigar, and the decision will be made on its own.
100%. So Karen, the next segment that we're going to talk about tonight is what I call one of our fun segments. So it's called our One Must Go, and it's always, as always, our One Must Go segment is brought to you by United Cigars, featuring La Giana Havana and distributors of Jose Dominguez, Bandolero, Garofalo, and the highly acclaimed Atabey and Byron lines. So smoke one today and start living united. So Karen, this is just a game. All right, just for fun. All right, so I'm going to give you, and the name of the game is One Must Go. So I'm going to give you three things, and it's if you had to live without one of these things, which one would it be? Okay, so obviously this is just for fun, for fans of Karen. Don't worry about it. She's not giving up one of these things. Don't worry about it. It's nothing crazy, nothing serious. Okay, so all right, so these are three things that you do, and we just talked about how your dream is to keep building this thing from seed to store, as we talked about. But if you had to live without, I'm not saying you would get rid of it as part of your business, but if you had to live without growing tobacco, manufacturing cigars, or selling them at retail, which one could you live without?
I think that it's really hard because I need the three things.
You need
know?
all three things, right?
Yes, it's really hard to choose, but the thing that I cannot live without is manufacturing cigar.
Right. Okay. So you have to
Well,
be able
that's
to
there.
manufacture. That's got to stay. Okay. So that's got to stay. All right. So between growing tobacco and selling cigars, is there one that you like least? You love them both, but is there one you like least?
Selling cigars.
Selling cigars. I had a feeling it was this because I feel like people who actually still have retail locations, and as they get into the other part of the industry, the growing tobacco, manufacturing, and everything, I think they start to really appreciate that more. Not that they love selling cigars any less, but they just start really appreciating it more. Jeff Borsowitz is a good example of this from Corona. Like I was talking to him about it once, and he's really gotten into, the farming and the cultivation of tobacco, and he's really gotten into that. And he calls it a passion project, but you can tell after talking to him for like 5 minutes that that's what he loves doing, is spending time on the farm. He loves doing that. Even though, I mean, he still loves obviously his retail locations and stuff. So, okay, well, wonderful. Well, that was our One Must Go segment. As always, it's brought to you by United Cigars, featuring La Giana Havana, distributors of Jose Dominguez, Bandolero, Garofalo, and the highly acclaimed Atabey and Byron lines. Smoke one today and start living united. Thanks for being a good sport, Karen. I know that was a hard question, but it was just for fun, so no problem there. All right, so next segment is something serious, but I still call it one of our fun segments because every week we have the opportunity here on the show to talk about nonprofits or charities of my guest choosing. And so we've gotten to talk about a lot of great subjects, a lot of great topics, and bring awareness for a lot of great things. And tonight's story, I think, is absolutely it's really touching. One of the things that a lot of people may not know is that Karen gave one of her kidneys to Kiki, and of course he suffered from kidney malfunction, which of course is why he passed away. And so Karen, you selected tonight charity of choice to spotlight was the National Kidney Foundation. So talk a little bit about why this organization and why this is still so important to you even years later.
What at a time that was really hard for me and Kiki, because he was that kind of condition. He was on dialysis for 5 years. But believe it or not, even that he was sick, yeah, his kidney doesn't work at all. So he was the person who her happiness always showed. He never stopped to work. So we were looking for a transplant for many years and nothing happened. He was
Brian, I think her audio went out. Did it go out on your side?
Yeah, I think we lost her.
Okay. Well, let's try to get her audio back up here. And sorry about the technical difficulties, folks. Here we go. Now, this was a really touching story, and I would really like for everyone to hear it. So,
Yeah, she doesn't realize that she can't be heard.
okay. As we try to get Karen back on here, Brian, why don't you go ahead and mute yourself and give her a quick call and see if we can get her audio back working here. And I'll talk to our audience a little bit about the National Kidney Foundation. As Karen was talking about, this is a really touching story because as she was mentioning, Kiki was on dialysis for 5 years and they were waiting for a transplant. And I believe she was still telling the story about how she ended up giving one of her kidneys. And the National Kidney Foundation is a fantastic organization that you can go check them out at kidney.org. And I posted in the chat how you can, if you choose to, and if you're called to, you can actually donate to this incredible organization. But they do a lot more than just raise awareness. They actually do offer treatment and support campaigns, and they offer a network of professionals that will put people who suffer from all different types of kidney disorders in touch with the right people. And this is also a great educational program and a great educational foundation as it teaches a lot about kidney disorders. Again, the thing about kidney disease that I was reading about, which I found really, really interesting, is that not it kind of it's very common. It's very common, and it kind of actually gets lost when you talk about a lot of other diseases and of course and everything that plague our society today. And so the fact that that the National Kidney Foundation exists, it brings a lot of hope to those individuals that actually suffer from these issues. And so what I'm sure Karen will talk about here in a second, if we can get her back on, is what this foundation and was able to assist with, and as her and Kiki and their family went through the struggles that they did. So I'm going to see if we can get them back on here. Okay. All right. So bear with us, folks, as we try to, no pun intended, as we try to get Karen back online here. So give me 1 second here. Okay. Karen, are you there?
yes.
Okay. I feel like that cut off right at the is.
Sorry about that.
No problem at all. I know we're battling through technical stuff tonight. So you were just in the middle of talking about, after 5 years of dialysis and the struggle that you and your family were going through as Kiki was on the waiting list for a transplant. And that's kind of where it cut off.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's not only Kiki, it was my mother-in-law also in dialysis. It touched me a lot in my heart, usually at morning, I went with my mother-in-law to the dialysis center. At the afternoon, sometime I was with Kiki in the dialysis 3 times per week, 4 hours connected with some machines, and it touched me a lot. So since that, Then the thing is that Kiki has to be in Nicaragua, and in Nicaragua and Esteli at that time nowhere dialysis center. So he helped to people in Nicaragua, in a hospital in Nicaragua, to create a dialysis center. So, and that way he don't need to travel to Managua, which is the capital, and the only place at that time they had a dialysis center. So he helped to the people in the hospital to create a dialysis center over there. And for me, it touched me a lot, you know, because I lived from my own experience how it's handled with that kinds of the situation. You know, it's really hard. It's really hard.
That's incredible that even as he was obviously going through such an incredible trying time himself. And you said your mother-in-law too, so his mother as well.
Yeah. Yes.
He was still helping others. He was still helping others. What an incredible resolve for him. That's beautiful. So so check out, so I went ahead and put it in the chat, and I'll be sharing it in the show notes later. You can check out the National Kidney Foundation, kidney.org. And there's a section on the right-hand side, and I put the link on where you can donate. If you feel called, please do so. This is an incredible organization that helps a lot of people out, and brings a lot of awareness to families and everything that are going through these struggles. Kidney disease, as I mentioned a second ago, as Karen, as you were trying to get back online here, I was talking about how kidney disease is you know, it's incredibly common. But a lot of people don't talk about it because it's one of those things that doesn't get talked about. You know, it's not one of these, I guess, you know, these more these bigger diseases like cancer or things like that. Of course, those are important too, but kidney disease affects a lot of people and their families. And
right.
And so this
and,
organization does a lot of. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. As a living donor, I can tell you that our transplant was in 2007. And the only thing that remind me that I had only one kidney is my big scar that I have on my side of my body. So this is the only thing. If you are a donor, if people are hearing me, if you can be a donor, please don't be afraid. So we can live perfectly with only one kidney, you know. And as well, I call people, please, in your driver license, remember us, be a donor, you know. If something happened to you and you can help to other people, would be amazing, you know. Give the opportunity to anybody and have a better life. It is amazing if you can do it. And I say before, don't be afraid. So I have lived with only one kidney for a long time. I am in a perfectly health, so I don't have nothing at all. So if you can help to other people, would be amazing.
What I think is even more incredible about this story, Karen, of course, it's what an incredible love that you had for your husband to donate your own kidney. But we hear about brothers or mothers or sisters donating. Being a donor is difficult. Yeah, I mean, because things have to match. But how perfect was it that you were a match for him?
Wow, was really, you know, incredible. I'd say that we're born to be together. You know, we're born to be together. So yes, you can have in your family as well. I had 4 brothers. 3 of my brothers, we have different kind of blood, you know. Being they make a lot of tests if you are matched with that person. In our case, with the Kiki, we are perfect match. Perfect match. Like we were brothers or something like that.
That's incredible.
So, and they give you the notice and we start to cry together. I feel really, really happy. Really happy, and yes, it was incredible. Yes, he lived smiling for 10 years. The only problem that he has is he has a female kidney, so then he need to go and make pee pee sitting in the toilet.
All right. Wonderful.
Like, that's it.
Just an incredible story. Karen, thank you so much for bringing the National Kidney Foundation to us tonight and talking a little bit about your own personal story as a living donor and the struggles of kidney disease in your own family. As every week, Karen, like I do this segment every week, and we've talked about numerous foundations and organizations and charities, and it's been really great to talk about what people care about. Most of the time it's outside the cigar industry, and sometimes it's in the cigar industry, and that's great too. But it's really great to hear all these different stories. And later tonight, my wife and I, since we started doing this 18 months ago, my wife and I have pledged that we'll donate to every single foundation and charity that gets mentioned. So later tonight, I always say it's typically done in honor of our guests, but I think you won't have a problem with this, Karen. In memory of Kiki, we'll be making a small donation tonight to the National Kidney Foundation in honor and in memory of your late husband.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Moving on here, just to our next couple segments. I know that we're having some trouble with your phone there, so I don't want to keep you too much longer, Karen. I can't thank you enough for all your time tonight and the wonderful stories and everything that you've shared. But wanted to talk about this year's upcoming trade show. It's coming up fast. I can't believe it. April's almost over. May's here. That means we're almost to that magical time, which is the PCA trade show at each year.
Yeah.
It's my understanding you guys will be in attendance again. Is that correct?
Yes,
we'll be there.
And we talked earlier tonight about the wonderful projects that came out last year, the Lanceros and the core lines, and then the release of the Cameroon cigar that you guys did, which features an African Cameroon wrapper, the Sumatran binder, and then filler from your farms there in Nicaragua. But you guys are all working on a new project, if I'm not mistaken, that will be the talk of the town here at PCA this year. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Go ahead, Karen.
So, as I said before, every year we try to do or bring something different on the market. I feel this year really proud that we bring this for this PCA in July, an amazing cigar and a collaboration with a big guy from the industry, a guy that I had a lot of respect. I love his brand and I love everything that he was doing right now, Mr. Abdul Fernandez from AJ Cigar Company. So we are really excited. It's a limited edition, and that particular cigar is a K by Karen Berger 25 anniversary. So we are celebrating the time that is the factory in Nicaragua, as well the time that was Kiki working, and myself as well, by AJ Fernandez. It's only come in one size. It's only one production. This is only a limited production. It's a box of 20 counts total size. We are really, really excited with that cigar. It is amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a one and done 25th anniversary, K by Karen Berger by AJ Fernandez, Connecticut Broadleaf.
Connecticut Broadleaf. Oh my gosh! So that'll be fantastic. What are the? Are you going to be using any of your tobacco in the binder and filler like the other K by Karen Bergers, or will it be completely different blend?
Well, we are talking in the future about the description, because we are having the project to make a lot of advertising with that cigar. So right now, I cannot say nothing about the blend is coming out or something like that, but
undisclosed at the moment.
Undisclosed at the moment. Fantastic. Well, that's exciting. A Connecticut Broadleaf project celebrating the 25th anniversary of Don Kiki Cigars, K by Karen Berger. Wonderful family legacy of the Berger family. What an incredible cigar that's going to be. I know people are going to be really excited about it. AJ's been
many people.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Have you been to Nicaragua?
I have not had the pleasure yet. No, I haven't had the pleasure.
Many people aren't aware of the fact that, Karen's field's neighbor, AJ's fields. So, it's the same soil, they're neighbors, they work together a lot. So this collaboration with them working together is just kind of the apex of their relationship over the many years. So it's a phenomenal cigar. I've smoked two of them, and They were young. So imagine in July when they've had a little bit of rest on them, how good they'll be.
Well, that's
so
wonderful.
we're really proud of it.
That's wonderful. Are they scheduled to be released right after the show, Karen, or is that still being determined as well?
We are working until 9 and pre-sales and everything, but we have already the production.
Yeah, they will ship after PCA. We'll take orders at PCA and ship immediately after.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, fantastic, wonderful. Well, we've come to our last question of the night, Karen. So this is our curveball segment. Another fun question. And as always, our curveball segment is brought to you by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Fastballs or curveballs, it doesn't matter. Since the company's inception, Steve Saka has been knocking them out of the park 7 consecutive years in the consensus top 3. Congratulations to our good friend Steve. And I actually lied. This is our second to the last question. We have another question that's also fun too. So stay with me if we can, Karen. But this is our curveball segment. Okay. So one of the things that I've always really liked about you, Karen, is your very unique style. I really liked some of the more, I guess, they were more traditional dresses that you wore at the PCA trade. So very colorful, very beautiful, just a very, very unique style that you've always had. And I have no sense of style whatsoever myself personally, but I've always liked your style and just how unique your dresses are and everything like that. So my curveball segment has to do with clothing or jewelry. If you yourself could be an article of clothing or a piece of jewelry, what would you be and why?
I like the part of clothes,
Clothing, okay.
Yes.
So dress, a blouse, what would you be? What do you think?
Dress. I like the dress and everything, as you said before. So yes, I prefer the clothing part, the dress and everything. Yeah.
So if you could be anything dress wise, you would choose a dress instead of a ring. You don't want to be a diamond ring. You want to be a dress. Yeah.
Yes.
Am I right about those dresses that you wore, like that I've seen you at PCA and other places? Are they traditional Nicaraguan dresses, or is it that you're just your own personal style? Am I completely wrong? Or
I think that I have been using my typical dress since we are starting to go to the PCA. So that's the typical. We have a different typical dress now. But one shoes that I use is the typical dress from Esteli. Usually, it's representing the flower, the color of the flag, black and blue. But sometimes I extra things in my dresses. So the last one of my favorite dress that I used in one PCA was the typical dress, but I had a painter, somebody who painted my dress with all the tobacco fields, the face of Kiki, the face of some people who work in the factory. So I was wearing that dress very proud. Every time I like to show people the culture of Nicaragua. So some dresses has as well the color of the typical flower of Nicaragua, which is sacuanjoche. So I try to put to bring different elements to the same typical dress. Maybe I change the color, I put extra thing, but something that they cover part of the industry or history or background, and also using some kind of element that are really part of the Nicaragua, our country.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. I really like the style of them, and they're absolutely beautiful and they're stunning. So thank you. Thanks for telling us a little bit about that. So you would be a dress. That makes that's perfect. That's perfectly appropriate here. So so I promise this is our last question of the evening. And again, it's another fun question as well. And this is our solitude moment with a cigar. So Karen, this segment is always brought to you by Asylum Cigars. Refuge is more than just a physical place. It can be a state of mind. Some of life's greatest reflection can be found in your own personal asylum. Moments like these were made for Asylum Cigars. Light up one and choose your refuge. So, so Karen, Brian, this question is for both of you. All right. So we're part of the cigar industry, and this is a very social aspect. We're having a social gathering tonight of sorts. We're having a conversation. The three of us are smoking cigars, and we're talking a lot about the legacy of your late husband and what you're doing in the industry, Karen. And it's a social thing. It's a community thing. And a lot of people have great stories about smoking cigars with other people. But there's always those few moments where we get to have a cigar by ourselves. Now, there might be a dozen, there might be 100, there might just be one. But tell us about, Karen, tell us about one moment, and Brian, you're on the hook for this too. Tell us about one moment that you remember. It was just you and the cigar, and why was it memorable to you?
There are a lot of moments, having the possibility to stay in different place, to meet different people. So every experience that I had for me full my heart, meet people that they follow us, they drive like a 2 or 3 hours to meet us means a lot to me. And then they had the opportunity to smoking that cigar with that guy who believed in our product made me feel really happy. Every specific moment that I had the opportunity to meet people, and also it's special for me. But I can say that if I need to choose something, would be we make a Zoom meeting last week ago that were some similar questions to me. If I need to choose something else, they had the possibility. Or I remember the last cigar that I smoked with Don Kiki, that we were together, talking together at that time, only his cigars, because he doesn't have the opportunity to try Orchid by Karen Berger. If I had the possibility in the future in my mind or in my dream to know one person that I want to smoke the cigar, of course, I don't want to be in the heaven right now. I am too young, so I have a lot of work to do. Will be smoking one of my cigar with him. There are a lot of person in the cigar industry that I admire a lot, as Carlito Fuente, AJ Fernandez. There are many in the cigar industry, but as well, I don't have any specific moment. For me, every moment that I had the opportunity to meet possible customer that I call my cigar family, for me, that moment made something special on me, and I try to keep on my mind that time and keep it in my mind,
Wonderful. Well, Brian, I know that's a tough act to follow, of course, but a moment when it's just you and the cigar. Do you have a moment, do you remember, that comes to mind?
Being a cigar smoker for 20 plus years now, there are quite a few moments. I would say definitely when my children were born and I had that alone time, when my grandchildren were born and I had that alone time for that first cigar, were important, meaningful moments to me. I remember the cigars I smoked for most of them. Most recently though, the most memorable cigar would have been last July, leaving the heat box of Las Vegas. And it was just so hot, and it was such a hard working week. And I got in my car and I drove out, and I got to the Grand Canyon, and I was sitting at the Grand Canyon smoking one of our new Cameroons in Salomon box press size. And that was an extremely memorable moment. The most recent memorable, peaceful cigar was that Cameroon sitting at the Grand Canyon.
That's awesome. I believed everything you said, Brian, until you said the fact that you have grandchildren. I don't believe that at all.
Hey man, I got two.
Like Karen said, she's too young to be in heaven. You're way too young to have grandchildren. I don't believe that for a second.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure those were wonderful moments, and especially that last moment that you described at the Grand Canyon. I bet it was a awe-inspiring sight, and to enjoy the new Cameroon cigar that you just spent a week talking about and working so hard alongside Karen with. I'm sure it was worth it.
I had talked about it a lot more than I had smoked it, so it was nice to sit down and actually smoke it.
There you go. It's perfect. So. Perfect. Well, Karen, Brian, I can't thank you enough for tonight for so many reasons. For a wonderful conversation, of course, but for fighting through as we talked about the despots and the evil technical gods and everything working against us tonight. I thought it was a fantastic conversation, and I can't thank you enough for both making time on a Sunday night when you guys should be with families to sit down with me and have a conversation about your families. Just wonderful, wonderful time with you both. Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
We appreciate the invite, and congratulations on 207 episodes, man. That's a milestone in itself.
It's been quite a journey. I can't believe I've done 207 of these. But each week I get to have great conversations with folks like you all, and it's you know, every week I get to learn something, and this week was no different, and just wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I know our audience did as well. We had some great activity in the chat. I know everyone will be checking it out later. Whether you checking us out on Facebook, you can check us out on the ELOSOFUMAR page. Calendar of upcoming events will always be there. You can always check us out on our YouTube channel as well, ELOSOFUMAR. If you listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts later, of course, we're available there too, on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure you download, subscribe, and review. If you already are a subscriber, do me a favor, hit the unsubscribe button, but don't forget to hit resubscribe, because that really helps my numbers and can help me continue to get great guests like our esteemed guests tonight, Karen Berger and Brian Diggins of Don Kiki Cigars and K by Karen Berger. Check out the 25th anniversary celebratory cigar collaboration with AJ Fernandez will be coming out at the PCA trade show this year with Karen Berger and AJ Fernandez. What a fantastic cigar that's going to be. Can't wait to hear more about that. Can't wait to smoke that. I'll be excited for that as well. And for everyone out there, we really do appreciate all those likes, shares, and comments. I'm Bear Duplessis, live from the Alec Bradley Lone Star studio of Azle, Texas. This was our 207th take. She's Karen Berger. He's Brian Diggins. And guess what, everybody? We'll see you next time.